This is your dose of daily market wisdom with master trader Nick Santiago. Starting from humble beginnings, Nick has been beating the markets for over 2 decades. He shares with you his take on the profitable trades that will have you moving towards financial freedom in no time at all. To see an in-depth review of his track record and much more, go to inthemoneystocks.com.
Welcome. This is your daily dose of daily market wisdom from master trader Nick Santiago. I'm Kerry, Lutz. Today is April Fool's Day for 1/21. Well, the markets aren't kidding around today, are they, Nick?
No, markets are up across the board, and we have the tech-heavy NASDAQ Composite leading the charge. So that is having the biggest movement, up about 1.75%. And that comes as the 10-year U.S. Treasury note yield is backing off today. So we have yields down a little bit on that 10-year, and anytime yields go down, looks like these tech stocks take off to the upside. Right now we have yields down about 6 basis points to 1.686%. So again, pretty good day for technology. It's a holiday session, so we expect the volume to be a bit on the light side today, and that's favorable for the markets to finish higher.
Yeah, it's a lot going on here when we're looking at infrastructure plan. Biden's revealed $2.2 trillion, with a couple trillion among friends, printed up anyway, and for some reason he wants to raise the tax rates, which I don't know if going to get it through or not. There's good possibility, but they'll have to get rid of the filibuster, I think, in order to do that, and I don't know that they'll do it.
Well, that remains to be seen. If the tax rates go up, just so everybody knows, that takes money out of the pockets of everyone. So it's going to be interesting to see how this gets how this plays out. So I mean, it'll take a little bit of time, but I think that there's a fair possibility of this getting pushed through. As for the filibuster, we'll have to wait and see how that shakes out. But again, I think they're looking to get rid of that. So they hold all the cards. I mean, basically, they really do hold all the cards. I think the spending plan is not all about infrastructure. It's more about spending. And we know how that goes. Remember, it wasn't that long ago when the Obama-Biden administration did that shovel-ready $800 billion plan. And, you had, I don't think there were many jobs there. I think that was just a fraud. Yeah, I think that was a gimmick. So, again, this time, they're up in the ante to $2.2 trillion. And it looks like it could be the same exact story going forward. So the devil's in the details. We'll have to wait and see, obviously. But none of these things are good for the markets. And Wall Street right now is on a sugar high coming off of that last $3 trillion COVID relief package, which was really very little COVID in there. But again, more spending and more bailouts and things like that. So, eventually this stuff does come home to roost. I think it will. I've been very, very cautious, playing both longs and shorts at the same time here. But overall, I think, eventually this stuff does hit home in 2021.
I think you're correct. And they don't need to get rid of the filibuster because for spending measures, budget measures, they use what's called reconciliation. And in that case, they just need 50 votes put through. But I'm not sure if taxes actually apply to that or it's just spend. So we'll have to see. If anybody knows, write us an email, kerrylutz.com, and let us know. Yeah, it's all kind of ridiculous, but everybody loves to spend money in Washington. That the national pastime has long ago replaced baseball.
Yeah, it's money you don't have, and it's money created out of thin air, and it's debt on the future. And our debt is already high enough. I mean, we're almost at $30 trillion, and it's just getting to absurd numbers now.
That's sure it will. Hey, weekly jobless claims?
Yeah, we had the weekly jobless claims report at 8:30 this morning. It showed a slight increase in claims with 719,000. Last week we saw a nice dip lower. This week we've jumped up a little bit, which was a bit of a surprise to me, but it doesn't seem to be having much of an effect on today's market. So I don't think we can make too much out of it. But tomorrow, the markets being closed, we are going to have the non-farm payroll report out at 8:30. That could have some impact next week as when we reopen. So that'll be important to see tomorrow. That'll come out at 8:30 a.m. as well.
All right. Well, I guess we're going to see what happens then. And finally, gold and silver have been on a tear the past couple of days.
Yeah. So we had that big back test. We talked about that. I said, I actually like what's happening. Don't get shaken out there. And right now, gold's on a big move. Gold futures right now up 11 and change. GLD having a soaring move today, up over 1%, $1.74 gain there. Gold miners are up 2%. Junior miners up about 2.6%. And silver's even joining the party today, upticking a bit. So very good move for the precious metals. And, I've said it before, I'll say it again. I like gold here. I like gold miners here. And I even like them more now that we've done that back test.
Yeah, so you think that's it? So it broke 1,700, down like a 1,680 something, and then it immediately rebound next.
Yeah, so we went as low as on the futures, went down to 1,676. And then yesterday we had a nice reversal day to the upside, actually closing above the high from March 30th, which is very positive. And today we got followed through to the upside. We talked about that double bottom. A lot of times they do that double bottom pattern. They try to shake out the weak hands, and then they ramp it up. And I think we're in the start of what we call a W pattern. And if that W pattern plays out like I think it could, there's a heck of a lot of upside left.
W pattern, huh? And I just have to vision the letter W, right?
Yeah, so the left side of the W occurred in early March when we traded down to around 1673, and then we go up and we make a little pivot high around 1750. That occurred on March 18th, and then we came down March 30th, and then we rebounded from there on the 31st and today. And if that pattern plays out, then it's usually a major bottom that will. And what I'll do, Kerry, is I will outline that chart and send it over to you.
Oh, great!
And you can post it up for everyone to see.
Excellent. That's also known as a double bottom, right?
It's a double bottom, but a lot of times double bottoms come in different formations. This here, you'll see it. It looks like a clear-cut letter W when it plays out, and the formation is very solid at the moment.
Hey, well, I've been bullish for a couple of years now. Since I was in Vancouver one summer at a conference, and all of a sudden, I think it's 2019, that's when we had first full breakout. I knew it. I knew it then, and then
well, that was a big one.
Then COVID came, and then we never been the same. I knew COVID eventually metal. Just no question. It's like they can press it. I mean, you can imagine that it's being suppressed, whatever. But fact is, when the bad news is coming out, gold gets driven down a month or two before to like major desperation low. And then fast forward a month or two, all of a sudden, whatever the news was comes out, and see what happens.
Yeah, and in all fairness, gold is doing everything that we thought it would do. I mean, I talked about it in August of 2020, and I said, we've gone parabolic now. We're going to do this ABC structure down. We got to probably go test 1,700. We did that. I mean, it's doing all the things you want it to do to go higher. So, I mean, when you look at the chart pattern, I know there's manipulation in there. There's always been manipulation. Every year there's a bank that gets in trouble for manipulation, but it's just the cost of doing business to these guys. I mean, it doesn't matter who it is, JP Morgan, it could be somebody else, the other, it never ends. But all in all, overall, when you look at these patterns, they're still playing out. And that's why I use charts, because it's really, you're never going to be perfect. You can get some calls wrong. You may even have your emotions take over a little bit. But, when you look at the precious metals chart, especially the gold chart, gold futures, I mean, it's guided us almost every step. And I think right now we're setting up really nicely for a much sharper move up.
Yeah, it looks pretty clear to me. The chart's kind of unmistakable there, but there's going to be a lot of hanky, a lot of manipulation, a lot of maneuvering before we get to that point. But man, once silver breaks $30, I don't see anything holding either of them back, and fighting that $30 line in the sand for a couple of years now, and looking at the way the metals got slammed last month, they're going to rebound pretty quick.
Well, I like gold a little bit better than silver at the moment, but silver is my long-term play, and I probably am talking my book because I own a lot more silver bullion than I do gold bullion.
Same.
So,
Same
but
here.
I honestly believe in the book of the Wizard of Oz. A lot of people think the ruby red shoes, are just a fable, but in the book, it's really the silver slippers. So, that's telling you that silver is where it's going to be, and I've always believed that. And again, I have both, but at the moment, I'm watching silver like a hawk, because if it does something and clears certain levels, it doesn't even have to go to 30. Then it can trigger another buy signal. So I've been watching silver closely. I am in the gold right now. I'm in gold miners as well, and I love the precious metals for the long haul.
Yeah, same here. And you want to go over to inthemoneystock.com, check out those trades. They're still in the offing there, the big plays, and it's inthemoneystock.com. Twitter feeds are at ITMS, at Nick Santiago01, at Kerry Lutz, and make sure you send your emails, KL@KerryLutz.com. Nick, have a great weekend, great holiday, and we'll be back on Monday.
Thank you, Kerry. You do the same.
And so concludes another episode of Daily Market Wisdom with Master Trader Nick Santiago. Be sure to go to his website, inthemoneystocks.com. Don't forget the Twitter feeds @ITMS and @NickSantiago01.